So, so one of my first questions I just want to ask is like, so what's the state of the athletics department right now, just in general?
We have a lot of challenges right now, due to COVID-19 and the pandemic, but I can say, my staff at the university, support from the president, support from the university, and my staff have done a really good job of maintaining the issues that we have. Due to us preparing and starting early with our plan and some of the things we need to get through this, we've created a great plan for our student athletes, and our first thing to be safe, regardless of the financial situation or the revenue loss that we have. We wanted to make sure that we create a safe environment. As we know, there's no COVID-19 free environment, but we wanted to make sure that we put some things in place to make sure that they're comfortable, that their parents are comfortable, coaches are comfortable, administration are comfortable. So as of right now, we're in a situation where we only have 40 student athletes on campus. All our student athletes are online, so we was able to create that environment to where they had the choice to able to be at home or online. Men's and women's basketball are here. As you know, we plan to play winter sports playing to start in November. So they are here preparing, and also they're going to classes as well. A lot of them doing hybrid process, but 80% of our student athletes are online. They was able to stay at home during the pandemic during this semester.
Okay. And you mentioned, so I know you said only 40 student athletes on campus, but at the same time, I know if you're a football player right now, I'm sure you're excited about the spring, of course, but
Right.
like, what are you telling them, just with the ability to not play, what has been the message to them?
My message to them is to stay motivated, continue to work hard, but most importantly, put yourself in a situation that you can play in the spring. Take care of your academics. This is a time now that you can really, focus on academics and do some things as you're at home with your family during this time, as everything is online. Don't be that student athlete that get here January 4th and you're not eligible to play in the spring. So stay motivated, but also take care of your business. And that's my message to them. I had a Zoom call with them last week, our football student athletes. And that was one of my messages, to make sure that you stay focused, stay on the task, but don't be that student athlete when we get here in January. You're not eligible because you hadn't did what you're supposed to do and took care of your business in the spring, in the fall.
Absolutely. So, the question on the street right now for everybody is that, Hendrick is gone. Was it a particular reason why his contract wasn't renewed?
It wasn't a particular reason. It was just his contract was up. We decided to non-renew. After meeting with President Hudson, and looking at this unique season and unique situation coming up, we just felt best that we would non-renew his contract. Because Coach Hendrick is a great guy. I think he did a great job from a defensive coordinator as transitioning over during that time of the program. But we just thought it was just time to go in a different direction for us, the program, as far as Jackson State University.
Absolutely. Let me ask this. Now, granted, he started off as a defensive coordinator, thrown into the head coaching position. Was it ever a thought to maybe move him back to defensive coordinator?
No, it wasn't a thought. That's something we didn't talk about. He did a great job on the defense side of the ball for 3 straight years. We was in a lot of games because of our defense side of the ball. So I have to give credit to him. He did a really good job. But just that never was a thought though.
Right, absolutely right. So with everybody on the staff that was there gone, you have TC, you have Otis left. So what has been your thoughts and message to them for now?
Continue to stay motivated. You're here. I expect for them to do a really good job in taking care of our student athletes now and meeting with them weekly, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do academically is first, and then also, talking about football and talking about things in different areas and different positions as he meet with each position and each coach to carry on the program, to carry the momentum on, keep them motivated, and understand that, hey, it's tough times right now, but, we need you all to come together as one. And I always tell my student athlete, during tough times, those are the times that you come together. Those are the times that you win those championships during those tough times. So these are the times that we're focusing on winning championships on and off the field right now.
Now, TC definitely really integral part into not only just Jackson State, but the Jackson community. I mean, you're talking about somebody who played with Kent in a time where Jackson State football was probably at one of its greatest points. So, whoever the new coach that'll be coming in, like, how does he necessarily fit in? Does he plan? Is it where he's gonna be brought in directly, or is that option gonna be left up to the new coach?
Well, he is a candidate for the head coaching job.
Okay.
Put that out there first, so could be opportunity that he's bringing in his staff.
Okay.
I like TC a lot. Followed him a whole lot, even when I was in Texas, and he was at Texas Southern,
right.
and he was at North Carolina Central with Jerry Mack. I think he did a real good job, won a championship out there. So he showed that he's ready. He showed that he definitely can take us to the next level from a leadership standpoint. But also, it's just something about being a part of the program. Having those ties with Jackson State. Jackson State is a very unique place. It's a place that you have a rich tradition. You have passionate alums. You have over 50,000 alums. You have passionate student athletes. You have a big tradition in the city of Jackson.
Right.
So expectations are very high. And in the last 7 years, we had met those expectations. And we're looking for someone that definitely can understand the tradition and the history of Jackson State, but also take us to the next level. I think it's time. People, when I took the job here, people had said, I just hope that the sleeping giant don't wake up. And I think it's time for that sleeping giant to wake back up. And whoever we bring in, whether it's TC Taylor or any other, we're gonna look for someone that really can take our program to another level. And that's what we look. Our expectations are very high, and we know with that, we have to do some things differently from a support standpoint, from a facility standpoint. To make sure that our program, from a recruiting standpoint, is not just off tradition. When you come here now, you can see some different things and what we're trying to do as a department. My staff, our job is support our coaches and our student athletes and do the day-to-day operations to make sure that we're in compliance with the NCAA, with the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and with Jackson State University and with the state of Mississippi. So we're making sure that we're molding and we're making a structure and an organization, a culture shop, changing the culture here and bringing those winning ways back. But not only building on that tradition and blazing new trails, as I say, but building on that tradition and making it better than it was. So we've been 7 years where it's been not the way we want it to be, but I do think the future is bright. I do like the direction that we're going in as an institution. And as an athletic department. So I do think with the right leadership and the right person in place, I think it's just this sleeping giant just waiting to wake back up again.
Gotcha. So like I said, in TC and Otis staying, like what do you think? I know you kind of mentioned TC just then, but like what do both of them as returning coaches? What do they mean for your program?
They mean a lot. I mean, they're very state of Mississippi, very respected, very known. Very known in the Jackson State community area. Alumni supporters, our student athletes love them to death. I just think they're really, really good men, not only on the football side, but outside of the football. They show great examples, and also they're great football coaches, great recruiters, love Jackson State University, and that's the number one point. A lot of times you can hire good coaches, but they just don't understand the tradition and the culture of what they are. And if you don't believe in the culture and you don't believe in the institution, how are you going to teach kids to grow? How are you going to teach kids to be successful when you can't do that? So that's one of the things that I think is very, very important. Understanding where you are, understanding that hey, I understand what I have and what I don't have, but I'm not going to make excuses and I'm going to buy in and get things done. And I think when your kids can see that in you and you're not making excuses regardless of what it is, I think that's how you build champions. That's how you build programs, because you're embracing the culture, you're changing the culture, but it's always from a positive and optimistic standpoint.
Absolutely. Without a coach right now, recruiting purposes, like how is that being, or what is that going to potentially look like in these coming months?
And that's one of the reasons why we made the change when we made it from a recruiting standpoint. We plan to make an announcement here in the next 10 to 15 days with our head coach, so we won't miss that. We won't miss that when it comes to recruiting, and that's a big piece of it. That recruiting is a lot. It means a lot, especially in the state of Mississippi. As you know, we have a lot of great high schools in the state. We have a lot of great junior colleges in the state. So, recruiting is big in that face, and we wanted to make sure that we make a decision early enough that it wouldn't affect recruiting.
Right, absolutely right. So with with TC and Otis still here, the question is it anybody that's a candidate for the job within the state, or if you can explain or say, are the candidates outside the state?
Well, I can tell you this, we do have candidates in state, and we do have some candidates out state. I believe in having some people that can be familiar with your state of Mississippi, that understands your state of Mississippi. But with that, with out of state, you still can have some out of state. I use myself for example. I was gone 12 years, but I was very understand the tradition of Jackson State, understand the state of Mississippi, and still had ties here. So, we want someone that can relate to Jackson State. We want someone that can bring a lot of exposure and excitement to the university. We want someone that can be a face, for the program, and someone that really understands, football. And how, and most importantly, someone that can relate to my student athletes. I think that's the biggest piece with this generation. You have to have somebody that when that tough love, when you have that tough love on these students, they can embrace them and they can buy into exactly what they're doing, and they see the vision long term.
Right, absolutely right. Obviously, rumor came up about Deion Sanders. Recently just finished a degree from an HBCU, so everybody's saying what if he came to Jackson State?
Right.
So this is my time to ask you,
that's a great question. Great question. What if Deion Sanders came to Jackson State? I can tell you, and I'll put it out there. Deion Sanders, as of right now, is not a candidate. He's not a candidate for Jackson State University. It sounded good. I love the media attention. I think a lot of people, embraced that and talked about that. But as of today, we still have a couple more days to make this announcement. I said the last 10 or 15 days. But as of today, Deion Sanders is not a candidate. But if you can hire somebody like Deion Sanders, I mean that's a big deal anywhere. I mean, Deion Sanders has made a great name for himself. He's really done a lot of good things for a lot of young student athletes. You look at some of the things he's done with the students he's had, and some of the, the mentorship, and looking at a lot of his programs on TV and some of the things he do and some of the quotes that he say. I mean, you talk about the generation and you talk about the buy-in. That's what the kids are looking for. Right. But as of today, he's not a candidate. But I think that'll be that's something that putting Deion Sanders and Jackson State name in the same sentence. I appreciate the media for doing that.
Right. So